The city hummed, a familiar symphony of life and ambition. Sunlight glinted off glass towers and crowds moved like a single, determined organism through the concrete canyons. On screens tucked away in the corner of the day's news were whispers of a new, aggressive flu strain. In a sterile laboratory, Dr. Lee stared at a petri dish, a deep furrow in his brow, a premonition of the coming silence. The hum of the city was about to change its tune. The symphony broke. A man stumbled on a crowded sidewalk, his body convulsing before falling still. Seconds later, his eyes snapped open, devoid of humanity, and a scream tore through the air. The virus was a wildfire, and the city was its kindling. Panic erupted, a tidal wave of fear sweeping through the streets. Amid the chaos, Sarah, a young survivalist, and David, a former soldier, moved with grim purpose, their first bewildered encounters with the reanimated dead hardening into a cold, terrifying reality. Survival became a moment-to-moment struggle. The remaining few barricaded themselves in abandoned buildings, the silence outside more terrifying than the screams that came before. Tense scavenging runs for food and medicine became desperate gambles, with every creak of a floorboard a potential death sentence. In a makeshift lab fortified against the dead, Dr. Lee raced against time, poring over viral samples, searching for a weakness, a cure. On the front lines of this new war, Sarah and David became a fluid unit of combat, fighting back the relentless tide of the infected. The last bastions of order crumbled. Military-led defenses were overrun in a storm of teeth and claws. The city fell block by block as explosions lit up the night sky. Hope became a luxury few could afford as survivors were picked off one by one. A desperate final push for an evacuation point ended in failure, the sanctuary becoming just another tomb. The world they knew was gone, devoured by the apocalypse. In the quiet aftermath, a new world was born from the ashes of the old. Ruined cities stood as monuments to a fallen civilization. Sarah and David, their faces etched with loss, stood with a handful of others on a desolate hill, gazing at the skeletal remains of the metropolis below. A fragile hope flickered in the distance, a weak radio signal, a whisper of life. It wasn't a promise, but in this broken world it was enough.